Hi, this is Gayla Nahamian, sacred erotic love mentor, poet, and author. And it's Collaboration Thursdays where I get to interview a healer, coach, writer, author, many different people to give to you their expertise, their techniques, their tips, and of course, their divine inspiration. So today I'm here with Mital, and I'm going to have her introduce herself. I just wanted to say a couple of words that I met her a couple of years ago in San Diego, and it was magical. So, and we have continued the relationship. So thank you so much for joining. So if you could just give us a brief bio, that'd be amazing.
Thank you, Gila, for having me, and I'm so excited to chat with you. And I am a women's empowerment and sensuality coach, and I am a really strong conduit for the goddess presence. So I help women connect with the goddess within themselves. Background as an acupuncturist and as a nurse, so I bring in lots of energy components as well in my work. So yeah, that's what I'm up to in the world.
Fantastic. So we have some overlap since you're a sensuality coach and I talk about eroticism. So if you don't mind, I'd love for us to get into that a little bit.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
First, let's talk about the goddess empowerment. What does that mean? What does that mean for someone who might be interested in that?
Yeah, so the goddess empowerment is like, okay, when I look at a woman, I truly see a goddess. And it really pains me that oftentimes there's such a disconnection between how women feel about themselves and actually feeling like a goddess. And it's like, it's literally in all of us. Like, we are human and we're also divine. And we have these like beautiful, sacred qualities about us. And it's like the goddess inside of us is just waiting to like be like, hi, I'm here. Like let's embody her more. Like, let's play with her. And that just leads to so much more confidence and fun and like your true path. Like, it just helps you connect with what you really want.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And I completely agree. Even for myself in my own awakening to understand that, we, each and every one of us are divine and we are powerful beyond measure. Of course, that Marianne Williamson quote comes to my mind. But when you think about that and, if we could just talk about it for a second, because I know of myself, my clients, my friends, we have all had, trials and tribulations, and sometimes we don't feel powerful. So how do you help your clients to feel powerful?
I think the first step is really acceptance of where you are, because when we fight against where we are, we really can't like break out of it or move forward. So I
Right.
think just like self-forgiveness and just acknowledgement, like, you know what, I'm right here. And nothing has ever been a mistake, because my soul has chosen this life,
Mhm.
and every single piece of it, like nothing has been an accident. So it's like I can love and embrace wherever I am, even if it's the lowest of the low for me right now, or like on top of the world. So I think that's like the fundamental that kind of, you can move energy from there, and
Right.
then I love to channel like customize experiences for that person. Like, for one person, it could be like, just like give yourself a big hug every day and say like, I love you, like I'm here for you. And for another person, it could be breathing into the solar plexus and the power center. So it's like the body has all these amazing access points for just remembering who we are and empowering ourselves again.
Yes, yes, I really love that. And I think that'll be a good segue to our sensuality. So the body, when I talk about the body, I feel like body has wisdom within it. It carries pain as well as, personally, I feel that it has opened up my creativity, my desire, which is part of my own message to my clients. Because as you open up into your sensuality and sexuality, you actually, it can empower yourself as well as it can lead you to your highest journey. How do you feel about that?
I think that is like so spot on. That gave me chills. And it's like, yes, like let's do this in a way that feels good. like sexuality and sensuality is so pleasure filled and it's so empowering. And it's like the most like deepest connection with your own body. It's like this way to feel grounded, to feel alive. Yeah. And
I want to talk about that because I've just been noticing. I've been joining a few other groups, and one like body image. You know, a lot even men have issues with body. You know, because like I'll just be quite frank. You know, since we're talking about this, I know I receive from people just because I'm a public figure. Sometimes men will send me like pictures of their penis or whatever. Like it's because and I was reading about it, to be honest. I kind of want to just put it on the table because I think that both men and women have insecurity issues about their body, like what they should be. And I think that, I think for us together to just come together and also as a collective, like whatever your body shape form is, like it is beautiful. Like it doesn't have to be validated.
absolutely. That's like one of my favorite things to work with women around. And I'm so glad you mentioned that men have this too, because, as a woman, it's not at the forefront of my mind, but it's true. Like, I think we've all been told, like, the idea of what we should look like or we should act like, or, like all these rules
Mhm.
that
Yeah,
have.
yeah.
And I know I've had a really intimate journey with body image myself, where when I was in middle school, I had gained like 10 pounds or something. And I was still very small, like an adolescent size 6. So just, like a normal healthy weight. And my whole Indian community was like, you're so fat, like you're just like, yeah, like literally like my Sweet 16 video, all my relatives were like, nothing about you look pretty, like, oh, you're just fat. Did you gain more weight? And I developed like insane body dysmorphia because I'm like,
Right.
I didn't feel very fat, and it's like, so I completely understand that psychology of like hating your body and like really not appreciating it for what it is, and like wishing it could be something different. And that's such a painful place to be. And it's like, like through so much like self-love and acknowledgement and just like taking all the like filters away, it's like, wow, like today I'm like, no, like even though I'm like way bigger than I was in middle school, like I truly feel like so beautiful in my body. And it's like, if we look in nature, like there's so many shapes and sizes. Like it's like there's like tall and thin, and there's like round, and even with the goddesses there's like
Mm-hmm.
so many different embodiments. So it's like, no, there is no one right way. Yeah.
Right, right. I completely agree. And even if you look historically, you're going to see in art or even anything, you're going to see a various type, Italian Renaissance as the women are totally big and, voluptuous. And then you move into, another phase where, and now like, but we don't even have to talk about the media. What I think is important is feeling it in your own body, really feeling good about who you are, no matter where you are. You might want to lose a few pounds, and that's completely fine, or you might want to gain some, but wherever you are, like you were just saying before about how if you're in a low place, that's also okay. Just acknowledging it, accepting it. That's the first step, I feel, to self-love, and not feeling like you're comparing with someone else. I too was brought up in an Indian family. It's something else that we share.
Yeah.
We have a lot of pressure.
Yes.
You not only have to be beautiful, you have to be really smart. You have to succeed in life. You got to do everything.
So skinny, like a size 0, like have like straight, shiny hair, like yeah, like rebellion curls.
Right. And then if you're dark, oh no, you should be a little bit
Oh no,
lighter.
yeah. God forbid I moved to San Diego, I'm getting tan. Like,
Yeah. Don't go in the sun.
Carry the parachute around, like the parasol. Like, yeah.
But all kidding aside, I think, to be honest, after, I went to India recently, and I really realized that behind all of that, I can even say generational oppression, like behind that is pain. We laugh, but it really is, like you shared, as well as I did, had a lot of pain, a lot of difficulty, in so many different situations with that, and I think many people can relate, because even if they're not South Asian, there's so many issues of class and religion and color, across the board, even within small communities. But what I wanted to share is that there is also a beauty in it. What I realized for my own family is a lot of spirituality was in my life. That if I wasn't born into this family, I don't know where, I just appreciate it, the good, with the challenges, because
definitely. I think that like for me in my journey, at one point I felt so compressed by my culture and like constrained and like not the ideal or what I'm supposed to be. And the beauty is like that pain has kind of become my freedom. It's like because it's like I'm Indian and I embrace that, and I know that I don't have to fit that mold, and I still get all the benefits of my culture and the beauty. And like when I first moved to San Diego, for example, the ideal here is like tall, like blonde, like Barbie. There's so much cosmetic, like any of that, but it's just like that's not what I look like. And it was like I had a choice. Like I can either feel really bad about myself and start dyeing my hair and like doing all these like procedures, or I can just embrace like the beauty that I exude as an Indian woman, like right now. And I mean, you could swap out anything, like Indian, American, like whoever you are, like you embody your own beauty that is just priceless. So.
Right. I think that's so true. And I think when you accept it, you accept all, like, we're also American, right? We're not, I was born in the US, so it's like, I really identify with that. But I even now, even though I am all of those things, I'm also a child of God, like regardless of all of the cultural stuff, I do feel that whole connection with the divine, so it just sometimes erases everything, because then what we're really looking at is your soul.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like speaking into the body image piece again, I've noticed a lot of women, they'll be like, well, I'll feel good about myself like when I lose the 20 pounds, or I'll go on a date when I lose the 20 pounds, or I mean, swap that out with 20, 55, whatever
Right.
it is. And it's like, oh, like, I just want to impart, like, don't wait. Like your life is literally right now. And when you embrace that and you're like, I'm worthy of going on a date right now. I don't have to lose a damn pound, or like, or I can feel sexy like right now in this second. Like that's the most freeing, empowering thing. And life will reflect that back to you. Like people, will call you sexy, or they will ask you on a date because you're like, guess what? I'm ready. So
yes. I totally 100% with that, because there's so many ways to feel sexy. And I'd love to talk about that for a bit. It's, of course you can put the lingerie, whatever makes you feel sexy. Food is so sensual and sexy, and I actually took this orgasmic manifestation class over a year ago. And at one point in the course, she said for us to look at our hands, like look at every piece of our body, our fingertips, just giving it love and realizing, it can give you pleasure. It can give another, it is amazing that we even have them, the gratefulness of how we can feel sexy in any way or form if we want to.
Absolutely. And it's like, it can be so simple as like massaging your own feet, or just like the like lightest touch on your skin. It's like there's like nerve endings and pleasure centers everywhere. It is a miracle. Like we're this like beautiful, like divine, pleasurable creatures just walking around.
Right. We are. And I want to talk a little bit more about sexuality, because even yesterday we were just talking about it in my house, because my daughter, she was in school and it was like, I don't know, anyway, it doesn't matter, but they were talking about creating children and the whole act of sex, and so she said, well, ask your parents, so we had a discussion with my children. But it went into deeper, like how the actual embryo is formed, from the fetus. And it's miraculous that from this act, you can create, and not just a child, but you can create anything, with that power. The sexuality has a lot of power.
Absolutely. It's literally like our life force.
Yes.
And to tie that into Chinese medicine, it's
Mhm.
uh like that our deepest organ is the kidney, and like that area in our back, that's where all of our life force, like it's called our jing, our essence, and
Mhm.
that's where it's stored, and that's like where all the sexual energy is stored. Like, you know, the base of the spine, like the kundalini can
Yeah.
rise up, and it's like this untapped source for most people because
Mhm.
most of us are like so like in our head, or maybe even like floating out here and it's like all the magic happens like in here, like in the
Yes.
body.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I completely agree. And, even my take on like Tantra is that I believe, I mean, you can read about it, you can learn it. Obviously, there's so many teachers out there. But I believe that when you can tap into, like, be mindful of your own body and your own vibration, you can remember tantric sex. You can get into Tantra because you have the wisdom within you. Of course, it can be enhanced, but I feel that every person that we meet, like even you and I, and anybody listening, we are being activated by each other to go further into whatever it is our soul is desiring.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's so true that, like, well, my belief is that we've had many past lives, and we are storing like so much wisdom in our body, in our awareness, and it's like just that connection point, like even like it could be with you and I, or it could be with our own body and our own breath and our own awareness, and just that presence. I think you're absolutely right, like unlocks so much information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing, because I think we're both talking about this in different ways, but we say like nothing is a coincidence because like we were saying earlier, because we were supposed to, you said this, we were supposed to go through this process to really unveil ourselves. Part of our sexuality is our own light. Our life force is our own light. And when you can open that up to its radiance, there is nothing bad. There is actually nothing profane. I'd even go a step further. There is nothing profane. Everything
Right.
is sacred.
Yeah. And I think that part of the awareness that we bring is like kind of, it's like when we bring light to the shadow that's been associated with it, then it's like it can all get cleared up, because all of that is just distortion or like garbled up energy from past pain. But, you know, when you like start to peel away those layers and clear it, it's like the sexual force can just like shine like stronger and brighter, and it is such a source of light, like absolutely.
Yeah, I was in Khajuraho, when I was in India, and so many kids come, to see the temples, and you see people in all different kinds of positions, all different kind of shapes, animals, like anything, and like everything goes,
Yeah.
But when I got a little book about reading about it, and it is divine. There is if you go into any kind of spiritual book, Kabbalah, any religion, sex is a divine act. And
Mhm.
when you can think of it as a sacred act and really, I can't think of it, cherish your own body, then you're on a different plane. You're no longer in this kind of three-dimensional world. You're really connecting into the infinite intelligence.
And it is euphoric. It's like, why would God give us such a like pleasurable, euphoric thing and for it to be bad? Like that just doesn't intuitively make any sense. It's like,
Right, exactly. I think I personally feel that they're, because I used to, because I was also in a South Asian family that was like, I wasn't allowed. We were just talking about this with somebody else today. Wasn't allowed to, date, because I just didn't feel like that was something I should do. And I didn't understand at the time, but now I understand it's a sacred act. It's something that you put a lot of emphasis on. That is not something you just throw, your body around. And I understand that now. But you're right. We're created to have pleasure and to really like look into each other's eyes, like really get into each other's souls. It's
Mhm.
that, strong, because
Yeah.
you're not just creating a child, like you're creating infinite things with that. So much stuff
Yeah.
happens. I can't even speak.
Yeah. Yes, I feel it. And it's also this like portal way, because it's like, when your soul to soul meets, like you get to see yourself and your own beauty, and then see the beauty in someone else. And like I think like even a like a different energy is formed altogether. And it's like this like
Yes.
creation that
Right, exactly. Creation, right. And we're not talking about just,
not like a
heterosexual,
baby. Yeah.
right. It's anybody that can connect with each other in that way, multiple, whatever turns you on. But that, I think, it's so beautiful, and it's so essential in life. I was reading Napoleon Hill a few months ago, and he says, like, actually Abraham Lincoln didn't come into power until he met his partner, and he experienced love.
I'm listening to that book now, and I just heard that. Yeah.
Can you imagine? Because it's such an amazing force that can change your life.
Absolutely.
So
And also,
people, go
oh,
ahead.
yeah, it's like, some of us like may not be in partnership like right now or yet. And it's like what I've learned is I'm taking this time to really connect in that way with myself. And before I was so lazy about my own pleasure. And now it's like, wow, like if I give myself the attentiveness that I desire, like I'm forming this entirely new relationship with myself, with my body. And like like I will take the time to like light candles and massage my feet and like explore different regions of my body. And I mean, something is like an elbow crease could be so like alive. It's just like is tapping into that aliveness and like pleasure within myself, and it's so magnetic. Like it's like I can't believe I haven't done this like my whole life. You know what I mean? Like it's just like
Yes.
something awoke in me, and my body, I feel so much more connected with my body and so much more confident, because like I have, like I'm a human. Like sometimes I'll be like, oh, like that was a very unflattering photo, or like that caught a bad angle. But then like when I'm like in this state, there's no bad angle. It's
Right.
all sexy. It's all beautiful. Like it's all like
Right.
pulsing with that like life force that's
Yes.
so attractive. Yeah.
Yes, I really want to discuss that for a moment, because I think every part of our emotions, even when we're angry, when we're, there's nothing negative. It's like when we can, like I used to think I never saw Kali anywhere. My parents never used to talk about the goddess Kali, and then I went to some retreat in Spain, and we were all talking about Kali, and I was like, yeah, I'm getting into this anger energy, this kind of fierceness. But that can be very sexy. Women who are dominant, because what are we? We're actually the queen of our worlds. And
Yeah.
until we take that power, nobody is going to give it to you. You must take it.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And so much of it comes from like our lower chakras. Like we can't like I think we've been conditioned to like be so nice and please everyone, but like there's like a grit and like a power underneath us that when we like tap into that, like that's really magnetic and that's empowering. Like it's like you can feel that energy.
Yes, yes. And I want to share that even in a partnership, or in not in a partnership, when you can embrace your own self in all its forms, in all its glory, your body, your emotions, everything, and you don't hide from any of it, and you don't let others, you open to others, then it becomes, especially if you're a mom like me, or even with your own family, whatever it is, but because then you set an example for others, or as a mentor, you set an example for others that you can show up however you want to show up, and everything's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's so important because a lot of the times we hear nowadays, like, think positive, like, be positive. And I think that's great, but it can also be toxic because it's not realistic. Because we're like, as much as we are like children of God and divine, we're also human, and we're like dualistic and we have like our good emotions and our bad emotions, and they're not like, we're never going to not have those. And it's like when we again like accept them and don't fight against them and actually give ourselves permission to feel them, that's when we can like harness the power in them and also move through them a lot faster. Like if you're like, okay, I'm really sad, I'm depressed, but I'm not going to feel it, it's like that's going to like linger a really long time rather than just if you like, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to have a really good cry, or I'm going to like scream right now. I'm going to like go in my car and just scream because that's what I need to do. That's so much more self-loving and self-honoring than pretending that's not happening.
Right, right. I completely agree. And as well with sexuality, I feel like we have these physical bodies to experience pleasure and, and whatever else we want to. But we're not just in our heads. We're not just in our crown chakra. We're not. We have all the chakras. And we have a reason for all the chakras, because if you don't open all of them, you're not going to experience the full vibration of joy and love, which is of, and gratitude, the higher vibrations. So I think
you said, yes, I love the way you put that. Yeah. It's like each one has a different note, a different experience. And like, why would you go through life just going in, like have all the flavors, like enjoy the whole spectrum.
Right. Exactly. I love the way you said that, because it is a frequency, and it is, I actually, it's something else that I do that I just want to highlight for a moment is the throat chakra, because you talked about the notes, so it's when you can actually hear yourself, our voices like are not only activate others, but they activate us. So it's really important to speak our truth, to live our purpose, like both of us are doing, and so many of you who are listening or thinking about it. Because that's kind of the point of this series as well, is like, Mital and so many others that I've interviewed, they're really showing up and allowing themselves to be of service to people. And we would love for you to connect with us, because I think that is a power when you can speak your truth and really hear it, because so many people I know are holding back.
Absolutely. Definitely. And what I've learned is that your own voice is the most healing sound to you. So it's like that sound current has so infinite power for your own self. So exactly, when you speak your truth and you hear yourself saying it, that's so powerful. And actually, one of the biggest transformations that I've had this year, and is a great tip for everyone listening, is to make a vision for like what you're really calling into your life. Like, it could be love, it could be finance, whatever, but like make a vision where you really like hear and see and feel yourself in it, and then record it and play it back to yourself. And hearing it in your own voice is so powerful. And then I'll sometimes speak along with it. That gives so much life to it. So
yeah, that's a good idea. Sometimes I listen to affirmations, but then I create my own, and I think that's so much more powerful than listening to somebody else do it. So I completely hear you. That's a wonderful, wonderful tip. I encourage everyone to do that.
yeah.
So tell us what's going on. Is there something that you are doing currently that you'd like to share with our audience? Please let us know how they can connect with you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now I'm really excited to work with women around like body image and empowerment and sensuality, like just like anchoring back into the body and taking back your own power. And I'm doing that in something called fire path sessions. So it's like, we activate a lot of energy, we clear away a lot of the stuff, and your fire really rises. So you feel ignited and excited and like just like so much more empowered around your whole circumstance. So I'd love if you guys reached out to me. You can DM me. My website's a little bit old, so you can just, friend request me or DM me, and I would love to share more information about that with you.
Fantastic. I will put a link to Mital's profile so that you can access her in Facebook or any other social media that she's on. And sounds so exciting, the fire path, because I really feel like we do have fire within us. It's fire is so symbolic. It's also the burning away of the old as we're coming into the new. And I'd like to touch upon that briefly because we're walking into the 12/12. So any kind of, divine insights you'd like to share, please share them with our audience.
I just feel like at this time, like so many of us are waking up so rapidly that there's this like palpable shift in the consciousness. And it's like old ways just will not work anymore. Like if you're not connecting into your heart, connecting into your, for women, like womb space and your sexuality, your sensuality, like it's just, you're leaving so much on the table that could be yours. And when you don't follow your own inner path, that's what leads to like the pain, the dysfunction, the patterns. And I'm just like, I just want to impart that like the collective energy is so strong. You're so supported, like, get support where you need it, and like rise. Like this is the time, like we're all rising together, and it's so exciting. And just like, and come with us.
Yes. Aho, thank you for sharing. I completely agree with you as well. I feel like part of the disconnect, part of the pain that we feel, even I feel, we all feel at some points in our life, is the mind and the heart. It's like the patterns in our mind stop us from living our heart's desire, but we know what it is, and we know what's holding us back sometimes, but we don't want to leave it. It's so comfortable to be there. But taking that leap of faith is actually going to help you to live in a more heart-centered way, which I feel everybody really wants to, but they're just afraid because of the pain from previous situations.
Yes, absolutely. And it's like, I think part of the whole 12/12 and like 2020 is like this rebirth portal, and it's such an opportunity. And I'm not saying the pain isn't real. It's real, like no one's minimizing it, but it's just an opportunity to release what no longer serves.
Yes, of course. And, and really, I feel also that the pain is just, it's something that we become used to. I deal with a lot of people in trauma, and including myself. And it's a way of being that you just became used to, but you don't have to be that way. And I think that's the beauty of it. You make a conscious decision to live a pleasurable life full of joy. Every moment you can switch it. You can change the perspective to see the joy. Everything, even the most dire of circumstances has a reason. And when you can get into that, then, your whole life changes. So
Absolutely. Yeah. I've been playing with the idea that like truly, I mean, I've always heard everything is for my best and highest good. And that's like a great idea, right? But it's like, I'm actually like letting that sink in deeper and deeper. Like, wow, like even the shittiest things, they've led to such beautiful gifts, and some I can't see yet. But like, I'm willing more and more to trust that, I've been creating this life, and it's all been becoming more and more beautiful, and there is a higher purpose to everything. So
yes, I completely agree with you. And I just want to add that anyone, whatever your dreams and desires are, it is completely possible. And sometimes you might have to redirect, like we might think something should be this way. And that's actually sometimes a problem, because you're so attached to the way. But, I would just suggest don't be attached to the way. Just focus, like you just said, on the desire. Visualize the desire, because that makes you feel good. And that's what's going to manifest.
Totally. Absolutely.
Fantastic. So I want to just say thank you for being here. If there's any other tips or techniques you want to share, please do it now before we close.
Yeah. I think that breath is a fantastic technique. And, it's like as we play with our different energy centers, like, sending the breath down all the way to the root, and then all the way to the second, and just like connecting with each center. That's an amazing way to unlock so much potential within ourselves. So
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mital, for being with me today. It was so fun to talk to you. I think that we'll do this again another time.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's a great time with you.
Yeah, always. And maybe we'll plan something like an activation that we could do together. I do these new moon healings, and I'd love to have you on. So, we can schedule something that we can share with our audiences.
Oh, I'd love that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And those of you that are watching, I will put all the description in for Mital so you can connect with her. And I'm encouraging you to connect with her about the goddess power and the sensuality and the fire, because those are so, so important, especially the breath. She really brings in so much because she has an acupuncture background as a nurse as well. So it really is a fully holistic experience with her. So I'm encouraging you to take, connect and have the opportunity to at least explore what it is that's resonating with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gila.
You're very, very welcome. So sending so much love and light to you and everyone watching, especially in this time of really shifting energy, like you said, and uplifting the collective consciousness.
Yeah, and to all my people watching, I really recommend Gila for working through issues of sexuality and empowerment around that. And she is just such a bright light. And when I met her, she just saw me. So that was so profound. So I really encourage you guys to reach out.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Totally appreciate that. So feeling the love.
Yeah.
And that's actually true. That's the name of the game, right? Hands down, nothing else. When you feel the love within you, I think that's part of what we've been saying today in this interview. When you feel the love within you, you radiate it, and everything changes. All your circumstances are just circumstances. They're not you. It's the love that's inside of you that needs to come out.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope.
So thank you again, and we will, and stay tuned because Mital will be coming back. So subscribe to my channel, and so you get notifications immediately. And we are so open for you to contact us for guidance and to just really open up to whatever is coming into your life to receive.
Absolutely.
Bye, everyone.